Hello, welcome to another Eagle 6 video. In this video we're going to be doing the reassembly of the front end for the Tokyo Marui M4 MWS gas blowback rifle and refitting the inner barrel and hop unit. Okay, so we've completely disassembled our MWS M4 in a previous video, and now we have the whole front end of the gun and the inner barrel and hop unit all in pieces. Okay, so we're going to be putting it back together as if you've just made a giant mess at home. Okay, so we're going to start by reassembling the hop unit. So we're going to put our hop rubber back on. And now the hop rubber has a alignment line on the inside which goes with this alignment line there. To make sure you get that in the correct position. Then we have a matching notch there that goes in this hole here to make sure that you fit that correctly. Next, I'm just going to pop our nub in situ there. And the arm just sits on top of it like that. Now, the top half just clips over like that. And we're going to bring back our O-ring. There's no screws on this hop unit, just an O-ring that holds this one together. So we can see here how the first arm there operates it. Okay, so in order for this to be operated properly, another arm has to sit there and push down on it like that, which is why when you look from underneath it looks like the second hop unit arm is sitting on top of like that. Okay, just bring it up like that. So we'll move this O-ring down there. We'll take our outer barrel. I'm going to refit our outer barrel O-ring. Refit the conical spacer. Remember that we're doing the thicker side towards this end of the barrel, and we want this notch in line with this threaded hole here. We can put in our hop unit. That is that reassembled. So we'll put in our second hop unit back in. So it's going to be like, as it goes in like that. Okay, so inside there. So let's just slide this back in place. Get our barrel. We can see it now just coming in. Remember, it has to be on the underside and the second arm on the top side, which it doesn't want to do as easy as you think. So we're just going to take a prodding device shall prod it down, and as we prod down, just push the hop unit over the top of it. Okay, the second one. Right, so we've just made sure that's in the correct place for proper operation. Now we'll want to fix this second hop unit in place, so we're going to drop our screw in to that hole. Obviously as we push in, it's going to move our hop unit back, so hold it in place with a finger. There we go. Okay, so second hop unit is fixed in place, but obviously we've still got a loose outer barrel here, okay? So we need to secure that again. So we're going to start with going back in the direction all the way until we get to the flash hider, okay? So we're going to start with the castle nut. You can use various tools, I guess, but for the cost of maybe what 15-16 quid or whatever these are, it's well worth getting. So because otherwise over time, if you just hand tighten it, or it's gonna get some barrel wobble going on, so you want this nice and cranked up. There we go. And then what we'll do, we'll just do one more good measure. Remember to brace it with our left hand. There's plenty. Okay, so that's done up nice and tight now. Put our circlet back on, which most people aren't going to bother removing. Obviously the orientation of the holes go towards the top. The reason we want the holes at the top is so that gas tube can go through. Okay, so that's now in line, the hole there. So next we're going to thread on the spring washers. Right. Now the spring washers have an orientation, again another hole at the top there, going for the gas tube, and we've got another hole on this ring, okay? So slide them in, and remember, hole at the top. So next we can slide on our sleeve with the hole towards the bottom. Okay, and drop our Phillips screw in. Remember, we're using the big giant screwdriver. Don't need to go crazy on Loctite or anything. There's not a whole lot on there, to be honest, from new. Just keep an eye on it every now and again. Just take it apart and put it back together again. It's the best way. So next what we're going to do is put the gas tube back on, and the collar. So the collar has the orientation, remember, this way and then the gas tube hole at the top. Okay, so there's two little holes, sorry, there where the top part of the RAS clips into. So the gas tube goes in between those, through the hole in the ring, through the hole in everything else, and then into the hole in the upper receiver. Okay, which is just there. Then what we'll do is we'll put the pins back in before we secure the grub screw. So remember, as per manual, we're going to be hitting from right to left, which is the opposite from left to right, which we were hitting earlier. And we want these little marked sides, okay, on the outside, okay, so on the right side. So when we follow our instructions again and hit left to right, it's all works out. So just feed these in. You just got to line this up until they start to press in. So once you know they're pressing in, you know roughly they're in the right hole-ish, give or take. So now we can use our, I've got a little rubber hammer here just to put these pins in. So even though we knew we had it roughly right, it still needed a little wiggle there, if you know what I mean, just to sort of seat those pins home and just do the last little bit. Then if you want to just make these completely flush, just use a pin, just hit home the last little bit. So I don't need to do that for me. Right, so grub screw next underneath. A 1.5, like we said earlier, Allen key. Just going to put that in there. Again, don't need to go crazy with the Loctite, that should be sufficient. And then just every few months just take it all apart and put it back together again. So next what we'll do is we're doing the flash hider, I think. Getting through it. So flash hider was an O-ring. Then it was the flash hider collar here, which was flat side towards the flash hider. And then we want to go on anti-clockwise. Put the top of the rail on. So we put this front section in first. There's a little silver bit which has to go underneath there. Pull the ring back. We drop the top in. We can then tighten up this screw. A little Allen key button head screw there, 2.5mm. Put the bottom of the RAS on. directional, fades and forward. Clicks into place. So that is our front end reassembled there. I'll just quickly go ahead and just slide the bolt back in and put the top section back on. So remember, our bolt, we put our charge handle on like that. And just feed it back in. Okay. That's now back in situ. We can bring our lower back into play. Joining these top, it just seems easier. You line up like that and just start to, first you want to, it's stuck on the stopper pin to start off with, so we need to get it off for a start, and once it's off that, just want to feed it gently into the hole, and if it's in this position I find it just goes in a bit easier. So now we can feed this back round. Obviously the buffer is just slightly in the way, so just pull your finger back, but just be careful with your fingers there, because you don't want to nip it down and catch your finger or anything like that. This whole thing's designed so that you can lift this up and adjust the hop unit, so so everything is sort of just finger press. There we go, and we push that takedown pin back in, and there you go. That's how to do the front end and the inner barrel and hop unit on the Tokyo Marui M4 MWS gas blowback rifle. Thank you very much for watching.